So I want to get into a mindset piece today that I feel like is really important and just kind of helps to shape our paradigm about a lot of things, but also the kind of eater that we are. So I'm going to ask you a question to start with, and I want you to, after I ask the question, I want you to actually push pause and think about it for just a minute. And then when you're ready, then go ahead and push play and continue with the video. So the question is, who are you? Go ahead and push pause, think about it, and then come back. Okay. So if I were to answer this question, I would say, well, I'm Lori. So the next question is, and again, push pause, think about it. And the question is, well, who is that? Okay. Push pause, come back. Okay. So who is Lori? Well, Lori is a wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a friend, a coach, athlete, a homemaker, a homeschooler, a church member, a bookkeeper. Okay, we all wear many hats and we play different roles. And each of these roles carries an identity which is based on the values that we hold relative to that role. Now, that doesn't mean the things that we're good at relative to that role, but the values that we have relative to that role. For example, if I were to say, I am a coach who helps others to be their best selves by continuing to improve my skills and knowledge and then sharing that with my clients and athletes. Or I am an athlete who values being healthy and physically fit. This includes being active, eating nourishing food, and getting adequate sleep and recovery. So that doesn't mean that I'm always good at those things, but those are the values that I hold with regard to being a coach and an athlete. And when we can articulate those values relative to that role, then those values, we create these identity statements that relate to that role. So we're going to work on creating some identity statements. And I want you to take some time this week to really consider, I want you to sit down and make a list of the roles that you play, kind of the hats that you wear, and think about what are my values concerning that role. And then from there, create an identity statement. And I am a blank who, fill in the blank. Okay. And I want you to do that for, you know, all of them would be awesome, but, at least two or three of them that are kind of the most important roles to you, whether that's work related, family related, or, physical fitness related or whatever. But another one that I really want you to consider, and this one does have to go on your list, because one identity that we don't really think a lot about is an eater. Okay, we're an eater. That's one of the things that we do multiple times a day, right? So I want you to really think about the values that you have around eating. For example, just some that I came up with. I'm going to read these. So the values are treating my body well physically and emotionally, maintaining a healthy body composition, eating nourishing foods at least 80% of the time, and I value food freedom, not dieting. So if I were to create an identity statement, then I could say, I am an eater who treats my body well physically and emotionally and maintains a healthy body composition by eating nourishing foods at least 80% of the time, eating enough but not too much of a variety of foods that nourish my body. So that's just an example of an identity statement that I might write for my identity as an eater. So I want you to take some time this week and identify what are your food values, and then create some identity statements. And do that with multiple roles that you play in your life, but also make sure that you do one about what kind of eater you are. And then as that identity, um, as we relate to that identity, if we identify a certain way, we're more likely to behave in accordance with that identity. So even if you don't really believe yet that you are that identity describes you, I want you to put it somewhere where you'll read it often, and I want you to start the mental work of taking on that identity, and then that will help to guide your behavior within that role. So I want you to take the challenge on this and see um, if you notice any difference in that. I want you to see what that does for you. And I would love it if you shared with me any insights that you have with that. Share with me your identity statements. Text them to me, or talk about it at the gym or whatever. But let I would love to hear what they are and any insights that you have or thoughts that you have about that.